All right, so let's finish up here reviewing what we did in this unit. We worked, remember we took the paint and we worked with the paint for our senses, and I asked you to think about describing colors in those paint jars in a little bit different way than just saying white is plain, white is blank. I asked you to sort of think about how the paint smells or tastes without actually smelling or tasting it. White is the beautiful broken lace of snowflakes falling on your face. And two, when you think about describing things in your writing pieces, not necessarily a paint jar, think about using your senses in new and interesting ways to express your feelings and thoughts to your audience. So that was another example from class. Then we did a little work with anecdotes. I think that was a new vocabulary word for many of you. Who can tell me what an anecdote is? Elizabeth.
Like you're adding something to your story that's like you experienced it, it's a part of your life before.
Awesome. It makes your writing personal. It's part of your experience before. It's a brief story, and it shows your writer, your readers, your personal involvement, and it makes them feel more attached or invested in what they're reading, your writing as well. Excellent. And we looked at an example of a story that had an anecdote or another brief story in it. We talked about ways to sort of signal to your readers, little phrases to signal to your readers that you were going to give an anecdote, such as in relation to, which relates to, for instance, like the time when, several years ago, once, do you remember these examples?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're almost there. We spent some time then with our pieces, adding that peer conference feedback, adding the sensory descriptions and anecdotes. Then finally, we did two other things. We told parts of our story in slow motion, where we slowed down the most exciting parts of the piece into very, very slow motion. For example, instead of saying Mallory threw Snowball, we worked with that piece and we slowed that down into every single detail of how she threw it. And that's when Pete said, wait, what is a shoulder blade? Yeah. Okay. Flying through the air, it seemed to veer a little to the left and almost seemed to stop midair before hitting the target, right between the shoulder blades. Okay, and then we looked at exactly how to slow it down and what we did to slow it down. You should have those notes in your writing workshop. And then finally, lastly, but not least, we worked with dialogue. We talked about how dialogue integrated into your writing can support and make it more interesting for your readers. And we also reviewed the technical aspects and the technical conventions of how to do that correctly. So, those were some of our examples we did together. Today, I will give you right now the rubric, a copy of which is on a smartboard.
This is for
Pass it down, please. So the first item and the last two items on the rubric, the organization